I really don't know who they are. I can only say they have to stand down, let law enforcement do their work.
But when Kira Phillips pressed the president, he still failed to denounce the group.
White supremacists, they clearly love you and support you. Do you welcome that?
I want law and order to be a very important part. It's a very important part of my campaign.
But do you denounce them? Do you denounce
I've always denounced any form
of white supremacy?
Any form of any of that, you have to denounce.
At a campaign stop in Ohio, Joe Biden issued a clear condemnation.
My message to the Proud Boys and every other white supremacist group is cease and desist. That's not who we are. This is not who we are as Americans.
Good morning, George. There may not be another debate, which could come as good news to many Americans. For 30 years, the Commission on Presidential Debates, which is a bipartisan group, has managed to run this show pretty smoothly. All that ended this weekend. They are going back to the drawing board. More on that in a minute. The fallout continues. President Trump is declaring victory publicly and privately, but many top Republicans are stunned and dismayed at his inability to plainly and simply denounce an American fascist group.
Joe Biden is fighting for his political survival.
But he wasn't giving up.
In South Carolina, if he has any chance of
His last hope,
a break time, in particular for Joe Biden.
South Carolina.
All rest on South Carolina.
Joe Biden has spent a lot of time in South Carolina. He can relate to South Carolinians. South Carolina was very, very important to Joe Biden.
To win, he desperately needed the black vote.
Joe Biden's been around for a long time. People comfortable with him. They get him. They understand him. Even if they don't agree with him, they think he's, a good faith actor. That means a lot. To a community of people who have been betrayed and oppressed and tricked and lied to, someone who you can trust at their word, that goes a very long way.
It was what he had done in that first Senate race, making it personal, connecting.
Is this projecting former Vice President Joe Biden is the winner?
He gave Biden a victory.
Reinvigorated largely by black voters in this state.
Joe Biden wins big.
3 days later,
In a political earthquake, these are the results nobody saw coming.
he rode the momentum and dominated Super Tuesday.
Pulled off one of the biggest political upsets in modern political history.
Soon, he won it all. And in the midst of the pandemic, once again, racial strife.
Get up, get in the car. Mama. Get up and get in the car right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not moving.
George Floyd, killed by police.
And that opens the floodgates. What we saw in the days and weeks to follow that was this confluence of these multiple factors. The deeply, deeply frustrated Black Lives Matter movement, of a particularly incendiary video.
In the Rose Garden that day, he would go to his playbook, fan the flames.
Our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa.
What Trump is trying to do is change the subject, that Antifa is the new enemy. Donald Trump likes to find enemies and to hold those up as that he is the protector against those.
As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.
After show of force across the street from the White House.
I'm sitting on the corner of Pennsylvania and 17th Street. And I start coughing and choking, and I start wondering what's going on. And I look up and it's clouds of smoke, and it's officers throwing some sort of chemical gas that is making my throat and my eyes burn, and I see people running. And this line of police officers coming, and they're clearing the streets. And I'm completely confused because I'm wondering, why is the White House doing this?
Then the president left the Rose Garden for a dramatic TV moment.
I felt badly for some of the people who were in that march. I've been asked what I would do, and I've said I probably would have gone along. How am I going to say no? And then I would have felt very badly about it later. But that's an effect Trump has on people.
Really, it's just a picture. It's just an image of the president being in charge. And that's his vision of what the president is, the guy in charge.